were gunned down, Rafael Ramos and Wenjon Liu. Congressman, what's it like in your district right now? It must be awful over there.
Well, we certainly are a wounded city right now, although we remain a resilient city. This was a tragedy for the Bedford-Stuyvesant community that I represent, a tragedy for the city, tragedy for the country, tragedy for the police department. But most importantly, Wolf, it's a tragedy for the family of Officer Ramos and Officer Liu. And so our first order of business is just making sure that these two heroes are buried with the dignity and respect that they deserve, that they're given a hero send-off. And then we're going to have to come together as a city to repair the damaged relationship between the police and the community so that we can make sure that there's an appropriate balance between effective law enforcement. We support the police department. We need the police department. But we also want to make sure that there's a healthy respect for the Constitution, for the civil rights of all communities.
As you know, the police officers, the police union, they are really angry at a lot of the statements that politicians have made, not only the mayor, but the attorney general, even the president, presumably you as well, for the aftermath of Ferguson, the aftermath of Staten Island, where there seem to be statements very critical of law enforcement. Let me play a little clip. Here's a clip of an interview you did with our Christiane Amanpour, and I want you to give you an opportunity to give me some context of what you were saying.
And I was really struggling as a father as to what to say to my oldest son in particular about what this verdict or failure to indict means in terms of his everyday interactions on the streets of New York. I was actually comforted by the fact that I called and he got home safely. And I've got to worry every day about what could happen to him, not just from the robbers, but from a bad apple on the police department. All right,
so a statement, a bad apple among the police department, that police officers are saying, and it's fair or unfair, that could have inspired some of these kinds of anti-police rhetoric and actions we saw with this one guy who killed these two police officers.
Well, first of all, this was a deranged individual, a coward who engaged in this assassination of these two officers. Someone who had a dramatic criminal record in 2 states. There's no way that this individual should have had a gun. One of the public policy implications of this tragedy is figuring out how we can deal with our gun violence problem in America. And I don't think that any criticism of the police department in terms of the few officers that engage in the excessive use of force should be conflated with this tragedy. These officers did not deserve to die, but Eric Gardner did not deserve to die. And clearly there's an issue in terms of equal protection under the law for everyone, which is contained in the Constitution, and we want to make sure that that provision is brought to life. Everybody on both sides of the debate, Wolf, are going to have to conduct themselves in a responsible fashion moving forward. And where there's been heated rhetoric on either side of this issue, I think as the mayor has urged, everyone needs to restrain themselves, particularly during this period of mourning before these two hero officers are buried.
After the period of mourning, would you support some sort of demonstration rally among your supporters in support of the police in New York City?
Well, in fact, I think on Sunday, there are already plans underway that I support and plan to be involved in of several religious leaders coming together with police officers who regularly protect and serve our communities, as well as activists and individuals concerned about instances of excessive use of police force, together to begin to heal a wounded city. And certainly those are efforts that not only I support, Wolf, but I will be actively involved in moving forward.
All right, guys.